Hi everyone, it's Carol here from Carol Richard Coaching, and today I wanted to talk about when some people actually see sleep as the enemy. They have not a good relationship with their sleep and they fear it, and they also believe that sleep is the enemy. I recently did 4 calls. It was a free series that I did, and on the fourth call, one of the participants actually said, "I don't see sleep as the enemy anymore." And we celebrated her because that's a huge mindset shift. And I always talk about how we need to look at our emotional well being, our mindset, and our behaviors in order to improve the quality of our sleep. And just right there, she really had a big mindset shift. So if you haven't registered for the call and you want to, there will be a link in the description below and in the comment below where you can actually sign up to receive the landing page where all the four calls are currently located, and then you can watch them at your own time. So I hope that you do get them and you start watching them. But let's talk about sleep as the enemy. So, first curious question I'm going to ask you: how do you see your sleep? When you think about your sleep, do you think of it as your friend or do you think of it as your enemy? And I know in the past I would say sleep was my enemy. I just couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't shut my brain off. There's no way I could go to sleep. And now I would see my sleep as my friend because we are in a good partnership at this moment. We're sleeping well. Um, I'm doing the right things in order for my nervous system and my body to fall asleep. So, what shifted with her was that she recognized that she was fighting sleep. She was mad at sleep. She was angry that she wasn't getting any sleep. And all of a sudden, she realized that she was actually maybe doing something that was actually getting in the way of her sleep. So maybe just a quick review of the 3 components to better sleep today so you can understand how this mindset shift can really create a big impact on our sleep and on yours maybe. But the 3 components are your emotional well-being, which are our emotions and the state of our nervous system. The second component is our mindset, which we'll talk more in detail about this mindset shift for her. And the third one is the behaviors. And I always look at behaviors last because really, once we change our emotional well-being and our mindset, behaviors naturally change. This is different. My approach is different than most other sleep programs because they start looking at behaviors right away. And when we try to change our behavior by willpower or by just forcing and pushing through, it actually creates more dysregulation in our nervous system and it backfires. So, emotional well-being, what do I mean? So we have to look at, what am I feeling towards my relationship with my sleep? What do I feel towards the fact that I can't sleep? What do I feel when I walk into my bedroom at night and all of a sudden this anxiety showed up? I had another participant that shared that he didn't recognize how much anxiety actually happened when he went to bed at night. So now he recognized, okay, I'm anxious when I go to bed at night. So that's our emotions. And the second part is our nervous system. So in the Better Sleep community and other programs that I teach, I really talk about the nervous system because we have our ventral, so our very good energy, our fight flight, which is sympathetic, or our dorsal, which is that really shut down energy, which is blah. If I try to go to sleep in sympathetic, fight, flight, there is no way I'm going to fall asleep because my nervous system is going to stay on alert to protect me, and I'm putting that in quotation, from an imaginary threat that's not real. And so that's why we feel anxiety, we feel anxious, we feel like sleep is the enemy because it won't come. And yet we're not addressing our nervous system and we're not bringing in some good energy. So, what are the tools that we use to build that? We use orienting, we use tapping, sometimes we do journaling, and sometimes just connecting with a group of like minded people that understands what it's like to want to sleep so bad and yet not be able to. And that can really help just our nervous system calm down, like, I'm not alone in this. And here are some people that I know, myself included, you can count me in that, who struggled with sleep for so long and is now sleeping decent. And I say I sleep well 90 to 95% of the time because I do still have those rough nights, but I know what to do with them and I don't get frustrated. And then I can go to sleep quicker if I do wake up through the night because my nervous system doesn't get revved up. So that's the first one. So emotional well-being, so important to focus on that first. Once we get a handle of like building capacity in our nervous system, we start understanding, oh, okay, like, yeah, I'm anxious. Maybe I use the tool of tapping for anxiety. I do have a YouTube video that I'll link here, tapping for anxiety, or the fear of going to bed at night is another video that I can link. That will help you reduce that fear, that anxiety. So bringing your nervous system into a more ventral, which is that good energy, calm space. Then we look at mindset. So what is it that you believe about your sleep? So this person believed that sleep was the enemy, right? What else is there? Sleep doesn't come easy to me. I've always been a bad sleeper. No matter what I do, I can't sleep. There's something wrong with me that I'm not able to sleep. So we're creating all these beliefs. And for us in the moment, they're real. They're really real. And I want to acknowledge that because that's what our reality is currently. But what if we could do something to start shifting our patterns, our beliefs, and creating new empowering belief? So again, in the Better Sleep community, we do that. We talk about how to use tapping to transform our beliefs, how to do a 4-step process to help our mind shift beliefs. And we don't want to force a new belief. We're not talking about affirmations of going around, I'm a good sleeper, I'm a good sleeper, because that's just going to backfire on us. But we can use affirmations like, I'm learning to become a good sleeper. So we're putting positive in there, but we're not going to like, that I have $1 million in my bank account when there's really only $10 there, because our brain is going to say, oh, you're full of BS, right? So using those things to start shifting our mindset. And for this person, it took her listening to the 4 calls, me talking about boundaries, nervous system. Can't remember what else we talked about. We talked about so much in those calls to recognize that, oh, sleep is not the enemy. I can do something about it. And once we got that under control, then we really start looking at our behavior. So, what am I doing to help myself sleep better, to support myself sleep better? What am I doing to support my nervous system so that it can be in a better state day to day in order for me to go to bed at night and go to sleep? What is the behavior that I'm doing in the middle of the night when I'm waking up? Am I noticing that my mind is kicking in, that that's keeping me awake? Or was it a behavior like maybe drinking coffee too late in the day that is keeping you awake? So we look at behaviors, then we look at sleep schedules, we talk about sleep, we look at what happens while we're sleeping. Because there's no point changing our behaviors if we haven't addressed our nervous system and our mindset first. So that's just a little bit about how I like to work with people. And I really want you to ask yourself this curious question. If you're still struggling with sleep, what happens 5 years from now if you wake up and you're still struggling with sleep and you haven't changed anything in those 3 components? Um, it's a good question, because do you want to see yourself here again in 5 years? If not, then you can still join us in the Better Sleep community and make some changes so that you can get the sleep you deserve, so that you can really live the life that you want, full force, without any disrupted sleep, or with disrupted sleep, but with a different mindset that it's like so little. Like, I know, was it last night or the night before? I was awake around 2 o'clock in the morning, wide awake. I was like, oh wow. So I had slept really good for about 5 hours. Then I was awake. And in the past, I would have seen that as a bad thing. I would have been, oh my God, here I go. I'm not going to be able to sleep. So I did get up. I went to the couch. I sat there for a little bit. The cat came. I cuddled the cat. I kept myself calm. And within like 15, 20 minutes, I was back asleep. In the past, I would have been awake for hours. I would have been so frustrated. I would have been so angry at the fact that I'm not sleeping. I would have been resentful of my husband sleeping next to me snoring. I'd be like, oh my God. So now instead, I can calm myself down, use my tools, use some resources. Last night was the cat just purring away. And I went back to bed and I fell asleep. And so that's what I want to teach you. I want to teach you real ways. It's not the right word that I'm using, but I don't want to give you unrealistic expectations of what will happen, but I want to give you the tools so that when something happens, you can deal with it, you can get back to sleep, and then you can wake up the next day and have a great day, because that's what we're looking for. We're looking for more energy, more ways to be connected with our family, more ways to just be present in our everyday life. And you can't do that if you're sleep deprived. So I'm going to launch an invitation here. Anybody can join the Better Sleep community at any time. We're actually just finishing week 1 out of the 12 weeks, so it's still time to join. Everything is recorded. You can come in and see them, that you can come in and watch the recordings after the fact. It's all there for you to really get your sleep under control. So again, it's Carol here, and I just love what I do, and I know that it works if you are ready to get your sleep under control.